Hello and welcome to the Convo. My name is Ashley and I'm a licensed clinician. Today I want to talk about how I gained the COVID-15. If you're interested in hearing more about this topic, please stay tuned. So prior to the pandemic, I was very invested in my physical health. I was a member of a gym. I was going to the gym several times a week, even on the weekends. If I wasn't at the gym, we have a home gym. I was in the home gym. So very high level of activity, high intensity workouts. I was lifting. I had weightlifting goals that I had made note of that I wanted to achieve by a certain time frame. I had a weight loss goal that I was hoping to achieve. And so in the midst of all that, the coronavirus hit the world and it began running rampant. Everything began to shut down, including gyms. And the overall morale of the world was pretty low. And as a result of that, I began to purchase things that I wouldn't normally purchase, lots and lots of snacks. We had a pantry full of chips and snacks and crackers and just all sorts of things. A freezer full of frozen foods, just things that we wouldn't typically purchase. And I indulged a lot. My overall sense of morale was very low. And I began to also indulge in sweets. And I already have a major sweet tooth as it is, but I began to bake more brownies and cookies and, making my own recipes for desserts and things like that. And looking back, I realized that it was kind of like a coping mechanism for me to indulge in all these things. And before I knew it, I had gained a significant amount of weight. And I hadn't been working out. My level of physical activity had decreased significantly. It went from working out like 4, 5, 6 days a week to pretty much going to take my kids for walks and let them ride their bikes and things like that. So it went from me having a very high level of intensity to a very low level of intensity. And in addition to my low level of intensity with working out, I was indulging in a lot of junk food. Before I knew it, I had gained weight, and I can totally tell in my clothing, the way my clothing fit, the way my face appeared when I looked at myself in the mirror. I definitely could tell that I had gained weight. And I wanted to talk about this because I know just in talking to friends and family that I'm not alone in this. And I know that many of us have not been able to get into the gyms. We have not been able to have the same level of physical activity that we normally would. And more importantly, with the level of anxiety, depression, trying to make ends meet, worrying about employment, worrying about family members, it is just very challenging to focus on physical health when we have so much other things going on in our lives. And so I wanted to make this video just to provide a bit of encouragement and also to share some of the things that have helped me get back on track and revisit my goals as it relates to my physical health and weightlifting and dieting and exercise. And I wanted to share a few things that have helped me on my journey back to fitness. And so the first tip that helped me tremendously was developing a plan. I needed to get back on track, develop a workout regimen that was suitable for my current lifestyle, which now includes homeschooling and tending to my family's needs. So in order to create that regimen, some helpful tips would be try to Google blank weekly or monthly calendars off the internet. You can print those out. You can write down your goals of how many times a week you want to work out, maybe some different types of workouts that you want to incorporate. That way you can see it, you can identify what you need to do, you can mark the days off as you go along, and it'll really give you that sense of achievement by marking those days off and actually seeing your plan in motion. Another part of my plan and my regimen is incorporating my children. I have 2 boys, ages 6 and 8, and with them being home, I had to figure out a way where I can increase my level of activity while also incorporating them. So when I work out, they work out. We run, we go on walks, we go bike riding, we do workouts, we do full workouts. Of course, I modify the things that my children do versus the things that I do, but they do some sort of workout regimen right along with me. And I find that that's very helpful for their health as well as my own. Another tip that has helped me tremendously has been to go grocery shopping with a purpose. Oftentimes we get caught up in the grocery store. I know I'm so guilty of this. I go to the grocery store and I have a plan and I walk out of there with things that I really didn't need to get. I didn't intend to get. I have no business getting, but I get them anyway. And so if we go grocery shopping with a purpose, that'll also help us on our fitness, weight loss, overall health regimen. In order to help you go shopping with a purpose, of course, make a list, most importantly. Make a list. Also do an inventory of what you already have so that you won't duplicate things. It may also be helpful to map out what you plan to eat for any given week. If you want to have a week of salads and, fish and chicken for dinner. It may also be helpful to categorize your list in such a way that you list the meals for the week. That way you can make sure you have everything you need for that particular week or that particular month, however you choose to go grocery shopping. The next tip would be meal prep. Now, some people prefer not to meal prep. They prefer to have fresh foods, which I'm one of those people. However, I find that sometimes meal prepping can save you a ton of time. The time that you could be using to do something physically active, work out, jog, ride a bike, do something, you're prepping meals, you're thawing out meats, you're chopping up vegetables, but you can be using that time for other things. So meal prepping doesn't necessarily have to mean cooking the food itself. It could be chopping up your vegetables and putting them in Ziploc bags or in Tupperware containers and refrigerating or freezing them. That way you don't have to worry about that part. Or it can be meal prepping in the traditional sense where you cook your proteins, your chicken, your steak, your turkey, and you cook your meats and then you refrigerate those, but you make fresh vegetables to go along with them. That way your vegetables are crisp and fresh. The next tip that has helped me personally has been to allow myself a cheat meal or a cheat treat. Now, this is a bit controversial. Some folks feel like that's not necessary. You shouldn't cheat yourself at any point when you're trying to work towards a weight loss goal or a fitness journey. However, for me, I feel like allowing myself a treat or a cheat meal helps me not to binge, quite frankly. And so I find that allowing myself a cheat meal or a cheat snack or treat helps me to curb those cravings. And it helps me to stay on track, believe it or not, because I don't have that inkling to want to binge eat and binge on things that I shouldn't be eating. So what a cheat meal would look like for me would be perhaps I put myself on 2 cheat meals a month, or maybe 1 cheat meal a week. It just depends on what my goals are for that particular month. But I may pick a Saturday and perhaps a breakfast meal. I may say, hey, I'm going to have some pancakes with my breakfast this morning instead of just having, fruits or something like that. Or if I choose to have a cheat dinner or a cheat lunch, it may look like a burger or something like that. I find it helpful. It may be beneficial for you or maybe not, but it's worth a try. My next tip would be not to focus on the scale. The scale does not dictate your gains. And oftentimes we get so caught up in checking the scale every day or multiple times a week to see if that number has changed. And it can really be deceiving because the scale may say one thing, but when you look in the mirror, when you put on your clothing, you're getting dressed or showering, you notice that you have made gains and your body is changing, but that scale may tell you something different. And there's a lot of reasons that go behind that. But the key here is not to focus on the scale. You may want to use the scale as a reference point to check in on your weight every now and again, but I would recommend not checking it on a daily or maybe not even a weekly basis because it can be discouraging. It may take you off track. And that's one thing you don't want if you're on a fitness or weight loss or health journey. And my next tip would be to allow yourself grace. You want to allow yourself a grace period. Just like anything else, things take time. It's going to take time for you to develop a routine, to get back on track, to see gains. It may not happen in a couple days. It may not happen in a couple of weeks. But if you stay consistent, you stay the course, you will see results. You will. Well, those were some tips that helped me to recoup after I gained the COVID-15. And I hope this video was helpful. And I thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, you may click on the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I upload another video. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.